This episode is brought to you by MedBridge Education. Log into medbridgeeducation.com/TN Therapy Outsource. Use the promo code Dr. Mike or alternative to get $200 discount or over 40% off. Gain access to 1,000 plus online courses, compliance training, certification preps, program, and so much more. So again, thank you very much. Enjoy the show. Action. All right. Hello, everyone. This is Dr. Mike Chua again, physical therapist and certified dementia practitioner. And today we have the Winning Wednesday webinar with in ACG, Alternative Careers Group. We've got a special guest today. Her name is Shelly. She's actually she used to be a public and private teacher, stay-at-home mom, stay-at-home wife. And right now she is teaching VIP kids, teaching kids in China how to learn English. And I'm sure she's going to teach me today. Again, thank you very much, Shelly, for coming over. Thank you. We've got a lot of people who are really interested in how to be a stay-at-home mom like you. And but before I pass the mic to you, just an FYI to the rest of our listeners and members of our group, Shelly is married to Mr. Bill Daly, our utilization reviewer guy. They're both at home, right? Yeah. All right. Sorry about that long intro, Shelly. So did I miss anything, Shelly?
Did you miss anything? Is that what you said?
Uh-huh.
Oh,
on the introduction.
I'm a homeschool mom as well. So.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
Wow. Well, before I go further, there's a chat option on our Zoom webinar, and there's also a you can also comment on the Facebook page. I will try to look it up every now and then. But Shelly, so first of all, where are you from? Where are you located?
We are in Columbia, Tennessee, just south of Nashville. So, Middle Tennessee.
Middle Tennessee. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. So I guess my first question, I already asked this to you earlier. How do you do this? I mean, why did you do this first? Why did you do a stay-at-home thing?
Oh, just being at home?
Mm-hmm.
I worked in schools for a long time, and it's a lot of work. When you are a teacher, you don't stop when you go home at night. It just keeps going through the weekend. And Bill and I went through infertility to get our one and only daughter. And so when she was born, I said, I'm done. I'm done. I'm going to spend time at home with her. I'm going to raise her myself. I don't want anybody else raising her. And so it's still now, I homeschool as well.
Amazing. And I bet you got more time with your daughter now and Bill because you're stay at home. So, and my next question, I've got lots of questions. So if you got any questions, my friends, ACG, put it on the question section. If you're there, you say hello. If you're watching live, say live. If you're watching replay, comment replay. But so how did you ended up with VIP Kids? I mean, did you search it? How did you search this? I mean, are there any other companies that provide these services to you? I mean, and what is VIP, by the way? Very important person kid or something like that?
Yes. They take the very important person and then put the kid with it.
Oh, wow.
I think it's smart because in China, they have very big classrooms full of children. And from what I hear, they are all competing for the teacher's attention.
Mm-hmm.
A big competition. So when we're in VIP Kid, it's one-on-one. And so they get to have all of the teacher's attention the whole time. So I think it makes them feel like a VIP. So I think that's a very smart name to go with. But I first heard about it from another homeschool mom.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of homeschool moms do this. They want to work something part-time, but they want to still be able to really give all of their time to their children. And so this works out well because you have to be up a little early to do it.
Yeah, because of the time zone.
Yes. So I'm not crazy. There are some people who are up very, very early. The earliest I will work is 6 o'clock sometimes, 6 a.m. Lately for summer, I'm at 6:30 a.m. And so my students, it's like 7:30 Beijing time, 7:30 p.m. So
yeah, because we're Central Standard Time.
right.
We're still you're still Central there, right?
Yes, we're
Okay,
central.
because if you move to the Eastern time, we're going to have the same time anyway with the with Southeast Asia. You're right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's
So
actually better to be on Eastern time if you can. I
yeah,
mean, you've got a big advantage. So
don't mess around with the time. So in the morning time, you wake up. You what do? You just log into your computer. You have an account through VIP, and then
now,
is it yeah? Is it just one-on-one student? So how does that work?
okay, so what you would do is you get up and there's an app now for VIP Kid. They were letting you get on through a browser, but that's going to be phased out. So now it's always going to be on the app starting in August. So I get into my app and I'll have a schedule for the day and I can look at it anytime. It's on my phone. I have a phone app as well. And so I can see, I could probably show you guys really quick what that looks like. But this is my phone app and it'll tell me who my students are for the next day. I can see everybody. I can see all their lessons. I can prepare that ahead of time. So I'll get up in the morning and I usually have everything set up the night before because I don't want to deal with it in the morning. I'm tired. I want to wake up. I just want to get upstairs and have everything set up and ready to go. And I have props out for different students. I meet with them for 25 minutes. It's about 25 minutes. Sometimes you go over, but you have to be careful because you have another student following that student usually. And the worst thing that you want to do is be late because they can even say that you are a teacher no-show, and that's horrible. You do not want a teacher no-show. The Asian parents are very big on promptness.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, yeah. You better be there. So
I'm gonna pretend I'm a Chinese right now.
yes.
My dad's Chinese, by the way, so I can make fun of him. Well, anyway, so what do you teach? I mean, obviously not Chinese, right? English,
right.
I assume.
Yeah. And you do not have to know Chinese. A lot of people say, "Do you know Chinese?" And no, I did not know Chinese when I started. I've been learning little bits just for fun, but I do not have to do it. It's supposed to be a full immersion. So they are speaking English only when they're with you. So that is how it goes. Now, the thing is, you will teach different levels. So when you first go through the application process, they'll kind of ask and see, where do you want to be? Do you want the lower level kids who are fresh beginners, or do you want some of the advanced kids who know a little bit more English? And you start out with that certification for whichever one you choose, and you can add a certification later. I started with what they call level 2 kids, and my level 2 kids are probably around 7, 8, or 9, and they are brand new to English. And so that's where I started, but I've been adding certifications as I go, and now I teach some of the, like level 3, level 4, level 5, and I even added level 1, which some people don't like, but I like it. It's teaching preschoolers.
The basic.
So this is preschoolers, and I love teaching the preschoolers.
Oh yeah.
They're amazing because they don't have their language fully yet. And so when they hear English, they pick it up just like that. They hear it, they can sound exactly like an English speaker. So
now we don't have the accent yet.
Right, they don't have it. No, they can go back and forth between Chinese and English and sound perfect in both. So, but that's an easier one. You don't teach them like a whole lot. You're just teaching them small things. You know, you might say up, down, little things like hello. So it's a lot of fun.
Right? Amazing. Well, so you're teaching English. I mean, is there any other curriculum that VIP teaches, or is it just purely English?
Okay, it is pretty much all English. They do have what they call supplemental classes as well. And that's, again, you would get certified for it. VIP Kid is very big on furthering education once you become a teacher. So if you want to teach a supplemental class, you're going to have to go through reading some material, watching some videos, taking a quiz. Sometimes they don't do it anymore. They're changing things. Sometimes you have to do a demo lesson to get your certification. But they're starting to phase that out a little bit. But they do a lot to get you ready for that. I teach some supplemental classes. Tomorrow I'm going to be teaching, what is it called? It's just a pronunciation class. And it's going to focus on pronunciation. So we're not really focused on the English words and the meaning. We're just focused on them saying it correctly and sounding like a native speaker. So I'm going to teach a class on that tomorrow. They also have some supplemental classes like for science, for music. And the whole idea is to get them learning something in a different language. So they're taking a class to learn music, but they're doing it while they're using their English. So these kids, these kids are going to be a little bit more advanced. They're going to know a little bit more English already. So
you mentioned about certification. I put it down. So where do you get this certification? You get it through VIP?
It's all through VIP Kid. It's all through VIP Kid. And what they do, and I could probably show it to you on my phone as well. So you can see probably some of my certifications. All those little round things are my certifications for my levels and for my supplemental classes.
So that is when you're already inside as an employee of VIP.
Yes.
Can you get it while you're applying? I mean, can you get it from outside now?
The
chance to go in?
A little bit through the application process. They've changed the application process now where when you're going through the process, they're going to ask you, what level do you feel most comfortable in? And they're going to send you through and just get you certified in that level right away. But you can add more certifications as you go. But they will certify you. So, and what this is for the parents. So the parents are going to see you and say, oh, well, she teaches pronunciation classes too. Oh, she teaches this level. So they'll see what's available with this particular teacher. The
just
more
like being a PT, more certification. Oh, I'm going to go this.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Yes. If you have more certifications, you are open to more parents. So if you join VIP Kid and you're like, oh, I have one certification, you may not get as many children booking you. You have to be booked.
And I like I like you to be my teacher now. I see all your hand gestures and everything.
And this is the thing.
Yeah.
This is the thing about VIP Kids. You will start using gestures like crazy once you do it. So like, you'll probably see me. I do this a lot. I'm sorry. I do this. This is what we do in VIP Kid. I'm like, I'll say, this is an apple. And you say apple. So
amazing. I need to learn from you because I obviously I do this all the time and I do Facebook Lives and teach too. And yes, I teach, old people, but they say you need to be animated anyway. So
yes, that is called, in the VIP Kid world, that is called TPR. And TPR stands for Total Physical Response. And that means that they're learning not just by your mouth, what comes out of it, but they're learning in the actions you do. It's also your facial expressions. I mean, I'll teach the word angry, and so I need to be like angry. So I'll do that with them. If I'm saying like, "Are you happy?" and we all do the happy face, and so
you know what? We also do this in dementia care. Because the patient cannot really hear you because of their hard of hearing. We do facial expression and big movement. So I'm like, come on, let's go toward to me, something like that. So oh wow, so oh well,
it works very well. The thing is too, my daughter takes the sister company is called Lingo Bus, and they kind of do. they do the same thing as VIP Kid, only they'll teach Chinese to kids in America. And my daughter takes that class, and so she has a Chinese teacher. She speaks only Chinese in the class, and she has to use the TPR and some props, and she teaches my daughter some of the Chinese words to speak. So,
Oh, wow.
it from the other way.
It's the other way around, you know,
Yes.
Chinese people teaching Americans to speak Chinese.
Right.
You know what? Before we went live, friends, ACG, I was asking Shelly, I was telling her about my sister who was buying and selling stuff from the Philippines. And I forgot that website, but there's this website that she goes to. It's purely Chinese. You can't even go in and log in if you don't know how to speak Chinese. So my dad knew how to speak Chinese, and he was our resource person. He passed away, but how do I say this in a nice way? Obviously, there is some sort of a discrimination when it comes to there, because you can't do business if you don't know how to speak Chinese. So, you know, same thing in the Philippines. You know, if you go to one island to another, if you don't know how to speak their language or their dialect, you'll have a hard time closing in on a deal because you don't know how to speak their dialect if you're just speaking English or just the normal regular national language. So a lot of Chinese here who doesn't speak Mandarin, the parents really forces them to still speak Chinese because when you go home, you need to speak Chinese. So that's true.
Gotcha.
All right. So again, my next question, Shelly, what are the qualifications to apply as a VIP teacher?
That is a very good question. The number one is that you need to have a bachelor's or better. So you must have a bachelor's, and it can be in anything. A lot of people say, well, I'm not a teacher, so I don't think I can do it. That's not true. We have many people teaching in VIP Kid who are not trained as teachers, but they have a bachelor's in something else. So that's your number one thing that you need to have. The second thing is that you must have some sort of experience being a leader or working with kids. Now, that's very flexible. It doesn't have to be a classroom. It can be like, I worked with a youth group one summer. I taught VBS. I teach Sunday school. It can be so many different things.
My wife can do this.
There you go. Yes. Yes. So those are the two big qualifications that they are looking for that you absolutely must have. I would say, too, that you need to be somebody who's prompt. I mean, that is a huge thing. They need somebody who can be there when they're supposed to be.
So we can have the American time, right?
Yes. They're really looking for friendly people. So friendly people who are very patient. If you don't have patience, this is probably not the job. You know, I wouldn't do it.
Yeah. I mean, I had to learn English, and I had a hard time learning and understanding a new language. And you need special patience, especially for a child or student like me.
You're doing very well.
Well, thank you. I do have HBO and Netflix subscription.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have to rewind sometimes. Oh, is that how you pronounce it?
That's okay. That's okay.
Sorry. I've been saying this word since I came here 2011, I think. I've been saying this word comfortable.
Oh.
Comfortable. I would tell my patient, and I would, hey, are you comfortable? And like they would just look at me like, well, you want me to go to the table or what? No. Right. Comfortable? Are you warm? And now my kids came here from the Philippines. They got here and they've been here. They don't even know how to speak English that time. And I told them, hey, baby, are you comfortable? They're like, Daddy, I think you meant comfortable.
Oh, my goodness.
It's so hard. The English language is actually the hardest language to learn.
It is very difficult. There's so much to it. And when you become a teacher, like, I know English, but then we do some grammar. So, I mean, and we really get into the grammar rules. So it helps to have a really good background in English grammar. You don't have to. If you want to teach just like level 1, level 2, you're not going to get into the grammar as much. But if you go up into the higher levels, those things are going to get harder. And we also touch on some math as well. VIP Kid is very big on having the children go through school subjects, but in English. So I will do math problems with them in English. And so if you're like, oh, I really hate math, you might want to stick with the lower ones because they're not going to be doing as much math other than counting.
Yeah.
But yes, so I do a lot of math with the guys.
So what is the age range of the students you're teaching right now?
Good question.
Mm-hmm.
So like with my level 1, that's preschool. So I've had as low as 4-year-olds, but there have been some people who have had even younger. They're like, I had a 2-year-old and I didn't know what to do with a 2-year-old.
The mom was like behind. It's like, hello, it's my child. Go teach her English. Something like that.
Right. You know, they're Asian tiger moms, right? They're like, you're going to learn. So,
yeah, you said that word, the tiger mom. I mean, yeah.
Tiger moms. Yes.
Wives like that. Tiger
right,
mom.
right. Right. I know. I have a Korean friend, so she's told me all about these tiger moms. But
you gotta go get all A's. If you don't got all A's, you're gonna go outside of the house.
Yes, but
it's all A's, 1B. I'm like, give her a break.
It is true. It's true. But my youngest has been about 4. I think my oldest was probably 13. I had one that kind of scared me. Usually when I get their name, I usually have their birth date on it. Not always. And I had a student come on and I didn't have his birthday, and he came on and he had a mustache, and I was a little bit scared. I was like, how old are you? And he was like 12, and I'm like, I don't know.
I'm trying to learn a kung fu right now, but I want to learn English.
I was a little scared because they're not. I know that some teachers have had this happen where an adult in China has got on and tried to take a VIP Kid class, and they are not supposed to do that. So if that happens, we have somebody that we can call. It's called the firemen. And so the firemen are basically like the tech people who are always running things behind the scenes, and the firemen can come in and kick him out. So, and end the class. So, yes.
Oh, wow. Well, I guess my next, I know I got lots of questions, right? Because it's very interesting. Right. I know a lot of people are interested. So you need a bachelor's degree and a little bit of experience as a leader with kids and everything like that. So what will be the next step? I mean, do we go directly to vipkids.com or whatever? Do you have a link that we can post here where we can use your link or your code or something like that? So
right. So just go to vipkid.com and there will be a screen as soon as you get there that'll ask you to register. And when you register, if you please use my referral link, I know this is going to be backwards, but
no, it's not. I see it perfect. So
do you really?
Yeah. Okay. Is it all capital? Let me write it down here. Shell O. Is it O or 0?
I think it's a 0, 1, 1, 2.
1, 2.
Yeah, I think so.
Shell 0.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put it on the Facebook group.
Okay.
Shell 0, 1, 1, 2.
Right. So if they go in there and register, VIP Kid is first going to go and check to make sure that they meet the requirements. That's going to be the big thing. They're going to be like, did you meet the requirements? If you do, they will pass you on to the next step. And I will get a notification as well. So if anybody signs up under me, I get their email. And I send an email out to anybody I get and ask them, do you need some help? What do you need to do? What's your next step? Let me help you with that. So I can help anybody with that next step. A lot of times people will see my link on a Facebook page and they'll go in there and they don't have a bachelor's, and it'll automatically kick them out. It says they failed. So you have to be able to prove that. And they're going to want the documents too. They're going to want to see your bachelor's degree. They'll have to see those things. So yeah, you have to be ready with all of that. VIP Kid will hound you. I will tell you that. They will hound you. When I first started getting on there, I was like, I just want to look into this. I was like, I just have some questions. They're like, no questions. You need to keep moving. So they're like, next step, next step. And I was like, well, I don't know if I'm ready yet. And they would call me in the car. Hey, are you ready to do your mock lesson? And I'm like,
Oh, wow.
whoa, hold on, hold on.
So they're really
Um,
aggressive too, huh?
yes, they will hound you to get you there. Because from what I hear, I'm trying to remember how many students they have, but they've got millions of students,
You know what?
millions
That's
of
true
students.
because they have the market there.
They do.
They need the teachers.
They
That's
do.
because, I mean, I didn't grow up in the Philippines. I've been to China and Hong Kong, and I would assume we have the same ratio of students because the population is so big. In
Yes.
the Philippines alone, it's 1:50. One
Mm,
teacher to 50 students. It's probably like 55,
right.
60. Even
Yep.
in college, we were like that. And it was just, not too
Right.
good. And for those patients, parents who can afford, and there are people who can really afford, extra tutoring and education. They will pay out of pocket to do this. And
They
this is
will.
probably the reason why VIP Kid is growing.
It
And
is.
they need more teachers like you and the rest of our people who are listening right now. So thank you for giving us the opportunity, and Shelly, for your time and effort. I know we've talked about this earlier. For those people who are interested, if you are watching and listening right now, AJ, Karen, Megan, and people who are in the Facebook group, if you are interested, comment VIP below because Shelly, we're gonna be doing a 4 week interview with her. If we've got enough people who are really interested, at least 10 who are really interested, we're going to do a 4 week webinar. She's going to teach us what are their obviously the requirements. She already mentioned that, and how to really apply and tailor. How do you say this? Tailor suit your resume so you could apply to be a VIP kid. Guide us what to do. I'm interested this for my wife. I think I'm going to ask her to join. And because there are a lot of opportunities. You're staying at home, you're
Mm-hmm.
having quality time with your family at home. All
Mm-hmm.
you need is a computer, fast,
Headset.
probably an internet, a headset.
Yes.
I mean, you don't need a fancy setup. I mean, I'm assuming your pictures there on your background. I mean, if you have kids at home, you probably already have your background set up.
Oh,
And you
yeah. You
know,
can get them cheap. I mean, if you are at like a dollar bin somewhere and they've got educational things, especially back to school, you can pick it up cheap. A map. Just be careful what kind of map. So.
yeah, we talked about that. Shelly and I were talking about the map because obviously this is Republic of China, and there are a lot of regional differences. We really have to be sensitive about it and professional about it. All right, we've got a text message here or a question. I took TESOL certification class. Is this helpful?
Yes, I
Mm-hmm.
would say definitely. If you get to the interview process with VIP Kid and they're asking you about your background, definitely mention that. That is huge. VIP Kid does their own type of certification through them, but it's not the same. What you have is very, very valuable, and they'll look very favorably upon that. During the interview process, that's also when they're looking to see what your base rate pay is going to be. So if you have more of a qualification, that's going to help you to get like a higher rate in that. But the rates are still, a lot of it's based on how you perform, especially you have to do some mock lessons. And so when you do the mock lessons, you want to really, really do well because they will base a lot of it on those mock lessons. And then they'll offer you a base pay. From what I hear, I think you can negotiate. I didn't. I was just like, okay, that sounds good. But later on, I heard, oh, you could actually negotiate that. So I wish I would have, but I didn't. It's still pretty good. The base rate. Should I tell them that? Is that okay? Is
Oh
that
yeah. I mean,
okay?
that's my next question. How
Okay.
much is the pay? We want to see the
Okay.
dollar sign there,
Okay.
not the
That's
yen
very. It is
sign.
important.
Is it
It is
yen?
important.
It's yen, right? In China.
Well, you're going to get paid in U.S. money.
Okay.
That's the way it is. But they're going to tell you it can be anywhere from $7 to $9 for a half an hour. Okay, now this
Hmm.
is the weird thing. They give you these little extra incentives too. there's $1 that you get just for showing up. I mean, that's it. They just kind of added on there. Here's another $1. And then you get another $1 on top of that. And then if you teach 30, I'm trying to think, I think it's 35 classes during the month, you automatically get a 50-cent raise on all of your classes. If you get up to 45 classes a month, you automatically get an extra $1 on all of your classes. And so when it all comes down to it, it's about $20 an hour. Okay, it's
Not
about that.
bad.
It's not bad at all.
For stay at home, and I mean, staying at home, you're not wear and tearing your car, no gasoline and everything for $20. I mean, I know some PTAs earn 20 more than that, assistants more than that. But if you have a bachelor's degree and you just want to, stay at home and do this, can they do this part-time?
Yes. Yes. That is probably the best thing about VIP Kid. It's totally flexible. It's very, very flexible. You set your schedule. All right. Now, the thing is, you have to get booked. So you have to keep that in mind. So you don't want to be choosing times that nobody's going to choose. So you do have to keep that in mind. But you set your schedule. And it does help at first if you have a schedule that's pretty consistent. But once you've got some regulars, people who are always going to book with you, then it's not so bad if you're saying, I just want to take a week off, and just let them know. They will beg you to try to take them for a lesson during that week. I'm already getting them saying, like, I know you're going on vacation, but I'm like, no, I'm on vacation. But they'll come back to you. So it's really, really flexible. I mean, but you have to, go ahead.
So yeah.
I do that all the time.
So it's basically you're a tutor online for Chinese kids. I mean, that's it, right? $20.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
And I should say too that you are not all of the program. The VIP Kid also has practice things and workbooks that they do before the class and they do after the class. You are the big one-on-one practice time, full immersion in the language. And some parents are really good about keeping up with that, and they have their kids practice before and after. Others, they're just like, whatever, just go on the screen. So, yeah.
I mean, are they using a laptop or a cell phone, or do they also have a requirement? Because, I mean, if it's in a computer, so I'm just hoping, they're actually listening and watching to you, not just playing in the computer or whatever. So do they also have a special requirement? Do they need to be in a private room or something like that, I assume?
So that's a funny question. I'll tell you what. Well, first of all, they either use a computer or they can use an iPad. Okay, so that's possible. From what I hear, in China, they kind of advertise VIP Kid. Take it anywhere. You can take a class while you're in the car. And yes, they have. So I have had more than one student take a class in the car while they're driving on vacation. Okay. It's a little awkward, but it happens. I've had a student take a class in a restaurant. Okay? And she's wonderful. They were all eating and sitting there, and she took the class. So they can do it anywhere, and the parent doesn't have to be there. So
a restaurant will be like, I'm going to order some Pepsi right now and some flat ice.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. We got a question here from Megan. If you do a 4-week webinar, will you speak in the interview process? Yeah. I mean, what? Yeah.
Yes. The interview process has changed. When I went through it, it was, I'll have to say, it was a lot harder. And I think they really listened to people, and they've changed it up. It used to be that you would get 2 mock lessons, and if you didn't pass, they kick you out. Okay, they're just like, all right, see you later. And I actually got kicked out. I was like, I made it through the first, I got to the second, and I was like, what do you mean I got kicked out? And I sent them a letter. I said, this is crazy. I know I'm a good teacher. So I said, I don't know what you're talking about. But it's very subjective. They have different VIP Kid teachers who have been in the system a long time, and they are the person who decides. And so sometimes you hit it off with one, sometimes you don't. So I messaged about that, and later on, I think other people did too, and they decided to revamp the whole thing. Now, when you go in, you can take the mock lessons as many times as it takes to pass. So if you don't pass, they're like, all right, take it again. So it's okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead and practice, which is good because it's giving you the actual feel of what it's going to be like, except it's not a student that you're talking to. When you do a mock lesson, you are talking to an adult pretending to be a kid.
Mhm.
So
I think that's harder, right?
yes, yeah, it really is. You know that they're judging you.
Mhm.
Number one, you know that they're trying to catch you with something, and just see how you react. But when it's a kid, they're cute and sweet, and you just
You can
like
be
them. Yeah.
natural or
So.
normal, right?
Mhm.
Yesterday I was practicing for my I'll be having a lecture there in Nashville, and I asked my daughter to be my audience, and she was like looking at me like she won't laugh at my jokes. So I said, "Well, you're not my audience. My audience are nurses
Yeah.
and administrators. So what is that
Right.
joke, Patty?" I'm like, "Well, I'm making a joke for nurses. Just
Yeah.
laugh."
Right.
So
Right.
yeah.
Mhm.
Anyway, again, thank you again, Shelly. It was very interesting. Thank you very much for your time. I appreciate you. For those people who are interested, go to VIP Kids. That's with the S, right?
It's VIP Kid. I think I have it up here. Yep. VIP
Okay, so
Kid.
there's
Mhm.
no S. Let me put
Yes.
it in
Right.
VIPkid.com and then put down Shelly's
Oh yeah.
code Shell0112. And
Mhm.
then again, if we have enough people who are interested, we are going to do the 4-week webinar wherein we will gonna continue to interview Shelly. She's gonna do some PowerPoints, some stuff that she will go through, how to be a good VIP teacher if you don't have any experience doing it. What else can we offer, Shelly?
I think the big thing is, I was a teacher, and I thought, oh, this will be easy.
Mm-hmm.
And I know other people who did ESL and thought this will be easy. It is a completely different thing. Okay,
Yeah.
when you are online talking to somebody on the other side of the world and you're in this little small square. I mean, this is a pretty good visual right here, but our squares are a little bit smaller and you've got to explain another language. It's not easy. It is a process of learning. And the application process is really designed to help you learn how to do this. Not just ESL, but how do you teach somebody in another country over the internet? It's
Mm-hmm.
very different, and it takes some getting used to. I mean, I think when I first started, I was either like way too close to the screen or I was way too far back, and I was like, okay, this is not good. I had to learn where to be
Yeah.
on the screen.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of things. Just how to
Background
do things.
distraction and stuff
Yeah.
like that. Uh,
Mhm.
Noise and feedback, good
Yeah.
microphone, and what?
Lighting.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm. Yep.
Visual cues. And I just finished a certification course called Certified Online Trainer Professional.
Mhm.
And I've been teaching online for a while, and I thought, oh, I don't need that certification. But the association that was teaching, the National Council for Certified Dementia Practitioner, wanted me to get that certification before I could teach their course online. I said, what the
Ah.
heck? I'm going to pay another certification. But I decided to go. And you know what? It was a 2-day course. I learned a lot. you
Mhm.
know the you know your voice modulation, how like what you're doing, visual cues and stuff like that.
CPR.
TPR, like that.
Yes.
And and I think you will be the perfect person. And Megan here actually asked another question here. Do you recommend we see your webinar before we apply? I would, because in that way, before you apply, and you tell them, hey, I attended a 4-week webinar, we can give you an issue a certificate or whatever. That it's not going to be a good certificate, but it's, at least you can tell them, hey, I've attended a webinar about how to be a good VIP kid teacher or whatever, stuff like that. It's not a certification course. In that way, when you go there, you're already prepared. So, Shelly, would
There's
you be able to teach us how to quote unquote pass a mock interview or something like
I
that?
could teach you a lot about that. There's so much to learn. There really
Mm-hmm.
is. I was a little bit on my own, unfortunately. Because I just plugged it in and started to do it. I did help a friend who went through. She was my referral, and I was able to give her a lot of help. And I know one of her mocks, she's like, "This is the lesson I'm doing." I was like, oh, "I just did that lesson," and I was like, "Hold on, I have something for you." And so I know some things that'll really help you to make that better. You know, you want to think about, not only are you TPR, you're also going to be using props. Um, don't go overboard with props. You don't have to go out and buy a million things. I make a lot of my props, or if you have kids, you steal their
Yeah.
toys. So, I mean, it works great.
How
So,
about screen sharing? Do you screen share too?
do I screen share with what?
Uh-huh. Do you do a screen sharing where you show your screen and then you show them a certain picture or something like
Yes.
that?
Okay. So I should probably tell you how that works. Yes.
Uh-huh.
So what it is that we have a PowerPoint, and the PowerPoint is going to be the biggest part of the screen, and that is the curriculum right there. So you're going to go through it, and every PowerPoint slide is going to have an objective that you need to reach. So it's going to have teacher tips on it, but you still have a lot of creativity with that and how you want to do it. I mean, some screens won't have very much at all. They'll just have the word on there that they're learning in a picture. And you can kind of figure out, how do I want to make this a little bit longer and get it through to the kid. All right, so that's always there. But then you're going to have two other boxes that are going to have your student in the video, and then it's going to have you. So you can see each other as well. So there's always those things that you're looking at: the PowerPoint, the student, and yourself. Those are
Mm-hmm.
always there. They did something really cool lately with VIP Kid, where we can actually trade out the big PowerPoint screen with my screen, and we can have them trade. And so if I'm showing them something really small, like let's say, this is one of my little props,
Mm-hmm.
I can put it on the big screen and they can see that really huge, and then I can go back, and then it's back to the PowerPoint. So yeah, I do show a lot of things on the screen many times. Mm-hmm.
Oh wow.
Yes.
Oh, wow. I think this will be perfect for the OTRs. Like, Megan here, she said she's not a teacher, but OTRs were kids, OTR who are kids, OTR who are pediatric. I mean,
Oh,
they're
perfect.
already animated. And I knew one OTR that I work with. She used to work with pediatrics, and she
Perfect.
went to the nursing home. She was so animated. People were like, oh gosh, you are so good.
Yes.
And it's going to be perfect. All
Yes.
right. And any last tip for us, Shelly, before I let you go?
I just was thinking about what you just said about the person who's working in pediatrics. I think that would be great. Anybody who's really got a heart for children, you will love this. I think that is the biggest thing about VIP Kid. It is good money. It is very flexible. But the best thing is the relationships. You will really get to know some of the kids. You won't get to know all of them, but you're going to get some regulars, and you're going to develop some relationships. Even outside of VIP Kid, there's an app, a Chinese app called WeChat.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually have a couple of my students' moms on WeChat. And so I can message back and forth with them and let them know, like, hey, I think your student really did this well, or whatever. I can tell them things. They can tell me what's going on in their life. You really get to just have a heart for the people in China. You just really care about them. And if you love children, if you're already working with them,
Mm-hmm.
this is a wonderful thing to do. So,
You know what? You mentioned about it already, and I know you and Bill are Christians,
mm-hmm.
and China is,
Yeah.
they have a different thing there, and we need to outreach there. I mean, we may not be, what do you call this, saying the, quote unquote. Technically, you can't do that, right? And even in healthcare, you can't,
Can't.
can
And you
even say
really
Merry
can't.
Christmas.
You have to be really careful with
Mm-hmm.
VIP Kid too, because
Oh,
China is always listening. The government's
mm-hmm.
always there. So you have to be really careful. So, I mean, you can't outright witness.
Yeah,
What you can do is, like, at
be
Christmas time,
awesome. Yeah.
Be awesome. But
Just
but
be
it,
awesome.
at Christmas time, if you wanted to put up like a little manger scene, that's okay. They
Mhm.
won't have a problem with it. If you want to wear a cross necklace, that's okay too, because that is part of the cultural exchange. They're seeing
Mhm.
like, okay, so in America they're Christian. You can't really talk about it, but they can see it and see what you're like as a Christian, and
Mhm.
that's perfectly fine. But you have to be careful. I don't want to cross that line for the one reason that I do know that the government does persecute them, and
Yeah.
I don't want to be responsible for that. I
Mhm.
don't want to know that I said something that caused them pain or suffering.
That's
I
true.
don't want that.
That's
So,
true.
but you
So
definitely pray for them. You'll have such
yeah.
a heart. You'll be praying. So,
Yeah. Yeah. I think you're doing a good job there and being awesome and being a good person. Not just being a good person, you're able to connect with them
you do.
after, being a teacher.
You do.
So again, thank you very much, Shelly. I really, really appreciate you. I enjoyed today. I learned a lot. If, like what I said to our ACG group, if you got any questions or any concerns or any violent reaction,
Oh,
uh,
violent. Okay.
sometimes I get some violent reaction, send me
Okay.
a private message. Michael, well, anyway, again, appreciate you. And like what I said, we will do this 4-week webinar with Shelly after Bill's utilization reviewer. We will do that. If we get at least 10 people coming in, we're going to go ahead and do that interview with Shelly. I appreciate you, Shelly. Appreciate everyone. Again, God bless you. Have a great day, and I will see you around. Thank
All right.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Bye
Shelly.
bye.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Thank you for listening to our show for today. Again, if you need education, you need CEU courses, log into medbridgeeducation.com/TN Therapy Outsource. Use the promo code Dr. Mike or Alternative. Again, thank you very much for watching our show. God bless you. And always remember, movement matters to your brain matter. God bless you and have a great day. Bye-bye.